I mean, I could send it to you. I'm not going to
I
show
am
it
live. Wait a minute. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can send it to you. Put your Facebook name or whatever. Back when everything was going down, I shared it with everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't share it here. I'm not going to put my cell phone up and show you.
Mm-hmm.
It was all public record.
Yeah, it's all public record. It's not like I was special.
I think they printed a whole bunch of it in like the Cedar Rapids Gazette or the Daily Iowa.
Well, yeah, especially after they went ahead and Byrd, got the attorney general position, and she just, went with it, and Kirk got mad. That's when everything went public, right? Because Kirk is like, this is bull crap, and yeah, I am.
All right,
I should be riding a short bus every once in a while.
All right, let me do our introductions, guys. All right, you guys, we are live. We are going to talk Northwestern football tonight, and as usual, we are on the air a little bit early, so I apologize to those because Jason has to get off early. So I apologize to everybody for starting early, but you can catch this part on the replay. All right. First of all, if you're on here, you're watching, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell button that will tell you when I go live. Hit the like button. Let the people know that you like this episode and share it. Definitely share it, and feel free to comment anywhere, anytime, live or replay. Okay. All righty. All right, so let's get started real quick. I'm going to go over a couple of things about Northwestern. Guys, do I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound fine.
God, everything is sounding funny to me today. It's almost like my ears aren't working right.
They're full of water.
Okay.
Get them drained.
All right. Okay. So, let's go with Northwestern right now. Their offense isn't great. They average 19 points a game, which is 119th in the nation. They average 120.6 rush yards a game, which is 103rd. 166 yards passing, which is 124th. 286.6 yards per game, which is 129th. And I think I saw we were below 100 on our total yardage. We're up in the 300s, but I don't remember how far up. The quarterback is Jack. How do you say his Lesh? Okay.
I say Lausch, but you guys know how I pronounce names.
Yeah, well, this one I'm bad too. Yeah. Okay, he started the last 5 games after the previous starter, Mike Wright, started the first 2. Lausch has, come on, stop that.
Lausch is the reason.
Has 70 of 138, 50% passing for 800 yards, including 2 touchdowns. Right? Yeah. 4 touchdowns. I'm sorry. My phone is just acting up, guys. I put all my notes on my phone so I could read them better.
Lausch is the reason Sullivan transferred from Northwestern.
Okay.
Even last year when Lausch was a freshman, they kept putting him on the field when Sullivan was playing.
Yeah.
They kept giving Lausch time.
Yeah. Lausch also can run. He has 200 yards of rushing. He has a couple of running backs. The guy is Cam Porter. He's rushed for 320 yards on 73 carries, 4.4 yards per carry, and has 5 touchdowns. Sophomore Joyce Hyman, 2, is the other back, and you can expect to see him carry the ball. He has 124 yards rushing. He carries for 4.4 yards. The Cats rank 16th in the Big Ten in rushing and are going up against Hawkeyes' 29th ranked rush defense in the country. I'd like to know where our rush defense ranks in the Big Ten. That would be nice. Brain Doctor says he'll be reaching out to you, bud.
Make sure you use, I know it's probably not your real name, so make sure you put in parentheses the Brain Doctor so I know who you are.
Okay. At wide receiver, they rely heavily on Bryce Kurtz and A.J. Henning. They have combined for 56% of the team's receptions this year. Henning is 10th in the Big Ten with 34 catches for 357 yards and 10.5 yards per catch and 3 touchdowns, while Bruce Kurtz has 27 receptions for 414 yards, 15 yards per catch. And the tight end is Thomas Gordon. He's third in the team with 14 catches for 155 yards. Do we have any receiver on our team who's caught more than 100 yards of passes this year?
Maybe Vanderzee.
I should have looked up some of our season stats. So that's kind of some of the things we're looking at. On defense, they give up 19 points a game. That's 30th. The rush doesn't seem to be that bad. 103 yards rushing they give up on. That's 17th. 246 yards passing. That's 150th. So we might want to. This might be Cade's breakout game where we're going to see Cade pass the ball all over the place.
You want me to answer your question?
Yes, sir. Please.
Vanderzee has 176 yards, and Gill has 169.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
And Lachey leads the team with 200.
Oh, okay. It's funny he's quietly doing that because don't you guys seem like Lachey's never getting any balls thrown his way?
He's not getting any touchdowns, but he's getting balls.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a touchdown on the year. So,
by the way, Northwestern is 1-4 against Power 4 teams, and
Who's the one win?
Surprisingly, they beat the crap out of Maryland 37.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
At Maryland, by the way, they went.
Maryland must have had one of those Iowa nights from the other night.
Yeah,
Maryland has been Jekyll and Hyde all year.
Yeah.
Most recently, they just lost 23-3 at Wisconsin or at home against Wisconsin.
Yeah.
The one common opponent we have was Washington. They played at Washington and lost 24-5. How they scored 5 is interesting.
Yeah. Field goal and safety.
That's why. Well, see, they got a big-time transfer in Mike Wright from Vanderbilt. He was really good at Vanderbilt. Well, he looked like he was really good. What you're seeing now at Vanderbilt is really good. But they had Mike Wright, he runs around, runs the ball, but he's just not very accurate, right? So they gave him a shot. Well, the offense wasn't doing anything with him the beginning of the year. So then they put in their sophomore, who they originally were going to start before the transfer, the senior. Mike Wright's a senior transfer. And now they're letting Jack Lausch run the show, and they've been getting better. But they're not quite there yet, but he has no line. He's constantly running all over the place, right? The Northwestern has 0 O-line. So I kind of expect the same type of defense what we saw against Washington. Because one of Washington's downfalls and why Iowa's defensive line dominated that game is because they don't have a line either at Washington. So I kind of expect something similar to that. That's what I expect, if that's what we see or not.
That's probably why Washington has so many red zone struggles. I mean,
yeah, it is.
You can kind of hide a bad O-line between the 20s, but once you get down there, you have to be able to run block and sustain blocks a little bit because – So,
it's a tighter space, right? The quarterback has to really, the receivers are not going to be close to being as open in that tighter space. So, quarterback may need an extra second. You have to be able to run the ball most of the time in the red zone. So, I think that's why they struggle there as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I just looked this up. Iowa averages 346.9 yards a game. Offensive, and they give up 337.7 yards a game. And that's kind of worrisome because honestly, if we can blame the last 3 games, because all 3 teams, Washington, Ohio State, and Michigan State, have racked up yardage on us, and that's concerning to me. For for a defense that's supposed to be elite, and and I'm still kind of mad that we spent all that money to bring 8 defensive players back, and only 2 of them are probably holding their weight right now. The rest of them, I think they're just there enjoying the money and I'm thinking that's okay. I don't care. That's how I see it, and I apologize to everybody who thinks that they're trying, because I don't feel like they're trying. They definitely weren't there. They weren't trying. They've admitted that they weren't trying. They admitted that their head wasn't in the game the other day, and I kind of like.
Well, that's
okay. Caleb, can he rack up some yards against Northwestern?
He can go for 2 bills.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, we just said Northwestern's run defense is probably the best aspect of their team. They're not great throwing the football, but what I've seen of them, they will take shots down the field. They are not afraid to throw the football down the field, so that concerns me.
They're going to pick on our right corner. I mean, that's the big deal. What you're talking about, it's not those 8 players that came back. It's mostly the right corner.
Right.
Every team has been picking on our right corner. I mean, when it comes back to a big 3rd down play, it's our right corner that gives up their 3rd down.
Right. And you're going to have to live with that. They're going to have to learn to work through that because, there isn't anybody else. But Kirk did say that Lee not playing Saturday was a coach's decision. So I don't know what he did to get in the doghouse. I really don't. Because when you say coach's decision, that's usually a doghouse thing.
He's not living up. He's not living up to. It's what it is. It's a what was it? It's a attention getter, is what Bobby Knight used to say.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know the biggest attention getter for a player? Put their ass on the pine, right?
Yeah,
that's what it is. Lee is not his potential. The coaches feel that Lee is a star. Mm-hmm. It's just he hasn't came out and done it.
Yeah. Well, here's another concerning stat. We have passed for a total of 958 yards this year.
It's not
unacceptable. And we've given up 1,574 passing yards. Our running back alone has more yards than our passing. I mean, and yes, most of that's Cades, but you got to. Sullivan has a few yards in catching, or passing, so that's just ridiculous. However, 1,470 yards rushing total, and we've only given up 790. We pretty much got twice as many yards as we've given up. Defense is our biggest problem, really, surprisingly. And I agree. I think we wasted our money on that. I really do. I mean, those guys, we should just let those guys go, and because we wouldn't have been any better off. Guys, I sound really stuffy in here.
What I'm hoping is Northwestern isn't great against the pass. They are pretty good against the run. So hopefully the game plan this week is let's get Cade going early and let's use the pass to open up the run.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get Cade into a groove. Let's throw some stuff that he's super comfortable with. Let's get Lachey, going up the seam. Let's get some guys on some crossing routes or things that he can complete. Don't ask him to do too much too early, but let's try throwing on first down a little bit, and then getting KJ involved in other ways. As a decoy, get that defense flowing. Hopefully our plan isn't, well, let's just run that inside zone play on first and second down and then put Cade in bad situation.
I don't think we're going to see anything different.
Yeah.
I I really think Leicester is okay, this is what we're going to do first half and see how they do it and see how Northwestern adjusts to it or whatever, see how it works, and then literally adjust at halftime. Our third quarters have been amazing this year with the exception of Ohio State and Iowa State. And Iowa had a big lead.
Right.
So who knows what they did at the half on offense in that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, every coach does it though, Jerry, but I wouldn't say sacrificing a game as much as they just wanted Hall to try to prove himself. They wanted Lee to sit there and watch. You have to send a message to these kids. I mean, they're not getting, 5-star corners. You can't, play patty cake with them like at Alabama in the past and stuff where you'd get such studs that it wouldn't make sense to bench.
Yeah.
And apparently
They're really
you can't step on their fingers anymore. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he kind of meant by saying game, he meant playoff chances. So.
Yeah, I figured that's what he meant.
Okay. All right.
I
okay.
agree with. In a way, I agree with him. I just know a lot of coaches that do that exact thing. Like it's an attention game. Like Bobby Knight used to say, the best way to motivate a kid, especially a college kid, is put their butt on the bench.
Yeah.
I mean,
So Brain Doctor says, would 6-6 or 7-5 be a safe bet for the end of the season before a possible bowl game? And you guys heard me the other night say that's where I think we're going to end up when the season's over. Source says that there's a divide in the locker room. Dean, have you heard that? I've heard that. I don't know how true that is because I don't have any way of verifying that. Jason, have you heard anything like that?
Yeah, but I'm not going to talk about it. I know. Never. I don't want to talk about it. But I think they're going to be better than that. I mean, I think the bottom line they'll might be 8-4 because of Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be the game that decides 8-4 or 9-3.
I think that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which game did you? Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think that freshman quarterback for Nebraska is going to throw 3 or 4 picks. Like he just throws it up a lot of times.
Who did we lose to in that homecoming game that Jared's referring to? Let me bring that back up. It always seems like we pick Purdue and Northwestern as our homecoming games, but yet we always pick the teams that have had our numbers. Why we do that, I don't know.
It was Northwestern. There you go.
I don't even remember that game in 2016 for some reason.
This isn't junior high football. And yes, I agree with Jerry.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
I think he's talking
D1
about when
football.
you set a player to send a message. You do that in junior
in
high,
college.
but he thinks that, he thinks at college. I'm guessing he thinks at college level you should not. I don't know.
I mean, I disagree with that 100%. You don't do that in junior high. They're all kids. You do that at the college level to send a message.
Right.
At the college level, these kids are prima donnas. They've been told how great they are their whole life. In college is when you have to, like I said, I referenced Bobby Knight. The way to get their attention is put their butt on the bench.
Yeah.
In junior high, you just let the kids play because the kids are going to be whoever. But when you're in college, you literally join a D1 football program. If you're joining one of those, you've probably been told your whole life how great of an athlete you were, right? Sometimes you have the walk-ons who are just good enough. Like Weejan.
Yeah.
Weejan's one that probably wasn't told that. He was told he was fast, but he probably was told things like he's too small for football, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
okay, so it was alluded to today, and I sent you guys the text message from Chad Lysico that they were very close to making a quarterback switch on Saturday. And basically, it boiled down to what Cade was going to do when he started the second half. And since he led him on a touchdown drive, he basically saved himself from being benched.
I really wish they would put in Sullivan. like I was having a conversation with Suter, and other people actually. I mean, people want Marco, and so do I. Obviously, everybody knows that. There's no denying it. However, that's not going to happen because of you have the media who wants to see Sullivan. So if they just bypass Sullivan, then everybody's going to go crazy. I want America to see Sullivan in real life. Apparently, they didn't watch him play at Northwestern, and they just think he just left for the heck of it. He thinks that people just think nobody wanted Sullivan in the portal because they knew he was going to Iowa. Bullcrap. No one wanted him, just like nobody wanted Deacon Hill. So I want Sullivan to play so everybody can see that he's not very good, and then I want him to go to Marco. Now is just it like right now it's I mean we're not really fighting for anything but a 9-3 and a visit to Paul. We all get to go hang out with Paul, have a barbecue. Yeah. But other than that, that's all we're fighting for right now. And so
I would like to point out
about Cade, because Cade is the only thing Cade does better than Marco and Sullivan is he gets them in and out of the huddle. Everybody knows what they're going to do. He knows what he's going to do. The offense runs smooth, right? There isn't really many hiccups with Cade, but he can't hit an open receiver. There's something up in his noggin that there's something, I don't know what it is. If it's he can't handle the media, I don't know. There's something that's making him like he just doesn't. He missed a speed out. Anybody who watched me live, he missed a speed out that I wouldn't let my high school quarterback miss. I'd be like, "What are you doing?" It was a simple speed out, and the receiver, I think it was Gill, was wide open, and he had to dive out of bounds. You guys remember that? It was like in the second or third drive. It would have been a first down, easy play. They gave it to Iowa.
Yeah.
You know how when we play against teams, our defense, we give them all kinds of short stuff, right? The quarterback has to be accurate against our defense and work their way down the field. That's what they were doing to Iowa's offense in the beginning of the game, but Cade couldn't hit an open receiver.
Yeah.
So I want everybody to see Sullivan. Right now, I don't think playing Cade really matters, right? Because he's not accurate anyway. Like, there's so many things he's not doing.
It sounds to me like they're going to start him, but there's a good chance that Sully will finish the game.
You know, for me, it doesn't even really matter who the quarterback is. If we're just going to hand the ball to KJ when all 11 defenders are going after KJ.
No, you're right. No, that's spot on. I was begging for a bootleg, and we didn't see a bootleg until the third quarter. And it was wide open, and what did K do? He threw it way behind the guy, or he threw it in the dirt on one of them. He threw it. So, yeah, I mean, you can't call those bootlegs if your quarterback is just going to throw it into the dirt.
Right. Okay,
but
so let's.
Jerry,
Studer says.
Hold on.
Okay,
Jerry,
all right.
We've all seen Sullivan play. He played at Northwestern. He stinks. That's why he left Northwestern. This isn't like a new quarterback who's never played like Marco. You could say we don't know how good Marco is. I'm only going off my brain with Marco because I evaluated him. However, I evaluated Sullivan too, but I've also seen Sullivan play for 2 seasons. Okay, now you can go on.
Okay, I was just going to say, Suter says putting Sullivan in would be truly sacrifice the game to prove he couldn't play. Honestly, against Ohio State, he led us on our only scoring drive.
Who did?
Sullivan. What? Was it against the second stringers? Yes, but their second stringers are better than our first stringers. End of discussion.
No, I mean, that's completely wrong. They're freshmen. They have no experience. So, I mean, giving the ball to KJ is leading us on a drive. He didn't complete a pass.
He completed one pass on that drive.
He completed to the tight end a short pass that he turned into an 11-yard gain.
Right.
He didn't complete anything 5 yards downfield. They did I mean, that whole is just weird. Northwestern, no, you're right. Northwestern has better skill position players than Iowa. You're right. Northwestern's not Iowa. He should have been able to do something at Northwestern. They ran the spread. They had wide receivers. Iowa doesn't. So you're 100% right. Northwestern had more skill position players than Iowa.
including
They just
Gill,
don't have KJ.
All right.
who's our top two or three wide receiver target.
I mean, they have 2 wide receivers right now with over 30 catches.
Right.
Yes, they do.
They have skill position players. They don't have linemen and stuff. Like, you're right. Northwestern's not Iowa. They have better players than Iowa on offense. Skill
All right.
position. They don't
Yeah,
have KJ. They don't have KJ. They have
Yeah.
better receivers than Iowa.
But how do we know? How do we know that Sullivan truly sucks? Because I'm going to go off with Jerry's words here. If we don't at least get him in for one meaningful drive where it's a mix of pass and throw.
No, that's my point.
Put on the tape. Go watch 2023 Northwestern football. Go watch the tape. And not the highlights. YouTube. Go watch Sullivan. You'll know.
There's a reason last year they kept taking Sullivan off the field and putting in Jack, who's their starter now. They were trying to replace Sullivan last year. That's why he left. They kept trying to replace him with Jack.
When he came to Iowa, everybody said he was Northwestern's presumed starter.
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
No one said that except Iowa media, because that's what Iowa media wanted to share. But he wasn't.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway,
and by the way,
go ahead.
Why would you leave? Why would you leave to a place where you're the presumed starter to go be a place where you are almost definitely going to be a backup? Because barring a Cade injury, he was going to be the guy.
No matter what, he's going to be the backup, regardless if Cade doesn't get in. Yeah, I mean, that proves it as well. I mean, I saw it. I knew it a year ago. Even before he hit the portal, they were trying to replace him with Jack Lausch, who's their starter now. A year ago, they kept taking Sullivan out and putting Jack in because Sullivan couldn't do anything either. However, I will say this, Dean, what you said is spot on. I want to see him play so he can prove to you guys what he is, because obviously some people didn't watch him at Northwestern, and some people think that having A.J. Henning as a receiver isn't as good as Iowa's receivers. That boggles my mind. They have skill position players. They don't have KJ. What Northwestern don't have on offense is KJ. But they have better receivers than Iowa. Wait till you see them play.
They do have better receivers.
Having Sullivan in there does give the offense more options, right? Because he is mobile. He can they can do some designed runs for him. Yeah. They can do some things that physically Cade can't do.
Right. No, you're 100% right. Yeah.
We need to move on from Sullivan versus Cade discussion, I think. I really do. Yeah. I mean, because you know what? It's not going to happen. Not in our lifetime unless Cade gets hurt. You know?
Well, I thought you just said, you started this by saying your buddy Lysico said that Quirk was this close.
That's true. That's true. I opened up the door. But, what I really want to know.
Real quick, do you believe what Lysico said? I'm just curious.
Yes, I do believe it.
Okay, so then you just said it's not going to happen in our lifetime. So I'm just trying to weigh the odds.
I believe what Lysico says, that he believes that what Kirk said that. Do I think Kirk's actually going to pull the trigger when Kirk has the final veto? I had this discussion with Calvin earlier today on my Facebook page, okay? Kirk says that as far as bringing in like Sullivan for any certain situations, they will have a discussion over it and decide, okay? And so the group will decide, who I'm assuming are all the offensive coaches, on a decision. And if they actually decide, yeah, we're going to bring in Sullivan, guess who has veto power at the last minute? Who vetoed the 4th down fake field goal or punt? Who at the last minute? Who made a stupid call on a timeout when he shouldn't have? Because he vetoed what they decided they were going to do.
Okay, this is what I'll tell you. I'll tell everybody on your podcast.
Okay.
The package is what Lester wants. I was telling everybody that package was coming, right?
Right.
So Lester had to talk Kirk into that. Kirk does have veto power. Every head coach has veto power, right?
Right.
But Lester, he did have to sell the package, but Lester does not want Sullivan throwing the football either. That's the point. Like when people are trying to say Kirk wants Cade and Lester wants Sullivan. No, Sullivan cannot throw. And unless it's the wide receiver screen and spread, which we don't do that. Right? At Northwestern, they run the spread, they spread you out, and they throw it around. This year, they're not. But that's what they did in the past, right? This year's their first offense with their new head coach. A year ago, they ran the same stuff that Fitzgerald ran, right? Before this year. So yes, Lester got what he wanted. Lester does not want Sullivan playing all the time. That's what some people think, that Lester wants Sullivan. That's not true. Lester wants Sullivan on those short yardage situations. Like we talked in the preseason, what he did at Western Michigan, right? He would always bring in a running quarterback for certain situations, right? So that's where it's at. Kirk always has the veto power. Every head coach does. But what Kirk did let go for Lester is they'll bring in Sullivan to run the football, run that goal line, short yardage stuff, which is what Lester wants. Lester doesn't want Sullivan in for the whole game either, because now he can't throw.
All right, I want to move on. What I want to talk about now is those two wide receivers and the tight end that Northwestern have. Can our defense stop them? Can we stop them?
Well, first of all, we can expect to have Sebastian Castro back, and that's big. Again, we talked about this. I brought it up on the last podcast. Iowa is not good enough to be missing an NFL talent level player and it not affect every level of the defense. And so I fully expect having Castro. You're going to see a much improved defense no matter who the right corner is.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this. All right, both Cole Ettinger and Castro are going to be back this week. Kirk's already said that. Can we move Ettinger? I know that it's not his position, to that corner spot.
No, he's an inside guy.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't know. Sometimes you just take your best players and you put them out there.
Well, not when you're talking about the corner position stuff. You got to be able to.
Right. Okay. I'm just asking. I'm asking.
No. There's a reason some players are safeties,
and
some players can be corners. Corners got to have soft hips. You got to be able to. You got to be able to maneuver. There's so many things that when you're playing outside corner, which is what happened to Nestor. Boy, Nestor just was awful. He was so confused and stuff. And whenever he turned his hips once for no reason and started running deep, and then the receiver stopped and he came back. You remember that? And I was like, what? No, it's going to be Lee and Lee proved he could do it last year. Remember? Lee played for Cooper.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, is returning punts in the league. He had a nice 28-yard punt return Sunday. But so Lee's proved, which is why they benched his butt to try, but they did bench Hall as well for messing up as well at the beginning of the year. So it's going to be one of those two. You can't just put Cohen outside when he's an inside player.
Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. I just thought I would ask. Okay. The whole Iowa season in the last 5 years can be summed up by Kirk sending Cade out on a 4th and 2, trying to get them to jump, and then calling a timeout. Predictable and not authentic. He actually called the timeout before that too, to set that up.
Is that the Ohio State game, the fake punt thing?
No, that's the game this week against Michigan State. We pretended like we were going to go for it on 4th and 2. We were trying to pull them off sides, but Michigan State wasn't biting. And then so time ran down, so Kirk had to call another timeout. So basically, he used 2 timeouts in that same series, in that same play.
Well, I mean, all coaches do that. So, I mean, they go out and try to, all coaches do that. You're trying to get them to jump. So then you call timeout at 1 second. So I'm not.
Yeah. But with
sure
the ball on our side of the 50, there was no way we were going to actually do anything but try to pull them off. And, Michigan State wasn't foolish enough to fall for it.
Right. I mean, you're right in that area, but every coach tries it. I mean, almost every game you'll see it.
Yeah, like if you're on the 40 or the 30 on the other side of the 50.
Oh, my goodness. Mike Leach would do it all the time on his side.
He has the offense to do it. I'm surprised any Mike Leach offense would even come up on a 4th down.
I mean, he went for it a lot on 4th down. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Kelvin's right. They have the NFL rule, timeout rule now.
Wait a minute, though. He called a timeout, then they went out to do a play. They didn't call another timeout? How did they get out of that formation then?
Delay a game.
Yeah, they must have delay a game. But you can't call 2 timeouts in a row now. Kelvin's right. They have the NFL rules going.
Okay.
So I don't think they did that because you can't.
I thought it was a timeout to set up the 4th and 2, trying to pull them off, and then I thought it was the play.
Sure
the play that never happened, and then I thought they called another. Okay, I'm wrong. I'm absolutely wrong.
Either that or maybe when we came out and lined up on 4th and 2, maybe Michigan State used a timeout.
Okay.
Valid point. Maybe that was it. Because you can't call 2 timeouts in a row anymore. So Kirk has to bring the timeouts back with him. He can't do what he was doing before. I forgot about that, Kelvin, but Kelvin's right.
Yeah, no, Kelvin's right. Kelvin corrects me more than anybody else I know. Outside of Jason.
He's got a brain, though. Kelvin has like this brain that remembers every damn thing. It's so weird how he knew what I talked.
Stop being so wrong, Dean. Then Kelvin,
tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Hey, I had a conversation with Dean about that. Dean needs to challenge me more. He gives up so fast. I'm like in the debate mood. I'm debating, and Dean's like, "I'm wrong." I'm like, what? No, it's not about right and wrong.
Yeah.
It's about having a debate. But
that's good. The last couple of shows I've gone after you on your.
I noticed I never get fact checked on here. I notice I don't get fact checked on here, so maybe my points are just too bad to correct. Like, yeah, we'll just let that one go.
Okay. How are you guys liking the new rules, like the 2-minute warning? I hate it if we're the team in the lead and a team like Iowa State's trying to get set up for a field goal. But if it's us, I love it. That team only hurts. That 2-minute warning hurts the team in the lead.
I don't mind it. But if they bring that NFL kickoff to college, that's going to suck.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It ruins the kickoff return. I hate it.
What are they trying to do with that anyway?
It's supposed to be for Purdue's old coach, Joe Tiller, said, like he was on the competition committee, the kickoff coverage, the kickoff in every single game is like the most injury play of a game. Mm-hmm. So the players colliding at full speed on kickoff. So it's supposed to be for safety. But he said that in college. The NFL went, you know what, we got a bunch of millionaires. We don't want to do that. So let's just put flags on.
Yeah. Okay, Jerry wants us to go back and watch. I'm not sure what he's meaning by that.
The timeout situation, I think he was talking about.
Oh, to see how it actually went out. Can't bring myself to watch it again, so it won't happen.
I won't. I don't care if I'm right or wrong on that one. I don't want to watch that again, regardless. But
just trying to help, Kelvin says. Yeah.
Yeah, but Kelvin is right. They did bring the NFL rules to college on the timeouts.
Okay.
And the 2-minute warning. Well, I guess this.
And the 2-minute warning, yeah. And this. They didn't do this, but that's the NFL onside kick rule. That's crazy too.
Well, yeah.
No more Saints Colts Super Bowl. Remember coming out after half, kicking the onside kick? The Saints.
Shoot, there was a team that did it against Iowa several years ago, back to back.
Oh yeah, that was Purdue, wasn't it?
I think it was Purdue. Yeah,
I think it was too. I do remember that
vaguely. The weird thing is, and I don't watch that much NFL football, but I can't recall any real major injuries happening on kickoffs. Like maybe these guys are, getting brain damage or whatever from the collisions, but I mean, when was the last time you remember Iowa losing a guy either returning a kick or on kick coverage, like torn ACL or some, major injury? I just
I think it's more about when they get to the sidelines, right? They have broken finger, something happened, they twisted their knee. Like I don't think it's like major, other than you're right. They're getting the CTE, which made my son quit playing football. He saw that Will Smith movie and he's like, nope, I'm too smart for that. So he quit football. But no, I think it has to do with just like broken fingers, just, maybe twisted knees, you hurt your shoulder, not like big injuries where we would see it. That's just how Joe Tiller explained it. Like he got so mad when they moved. Do you remember when they moved the kickoff from like the 40 to the 35?
Yeah.
I want to say that's what he was mad about, because that gets more returns, which is what college football wanted, was the excitement of the kickoff return.
Correct.
And Joe Tiller said, well, it does the opposite, because now there's going to be even more collisions. You're not going to have as many touchbacks. Like, I just remember all that. Yeah. So that's why.
On top of that, you remember touchbacks used to come out to the 20. Now they come out to the 25. So they made it even. They made
some of this other stuff here too. This is getting kind of interesting. Can you believe how bad our new wide receiver coach is, that our wide receivers are running out of bounds and then trying to make catches? You'd think that John's wide receiver coach experience at which is Colorado State, he'd have taught them better. That still irks me, that if that is a rule, that's just a stupid rule.
It's not a bad rule.
Right. Illegal touching. 15-yard penalty.
It's not a stupid rule, because we just saw the 12-man rule get exploited, right? Mm-hmm. Can you imagine what the coaches would come up with if that wasn't a rule?
But he was on the playing field. He ran down the sideline, stepped out, and came back in and made a fantastic catch. That was one of the best catches I've seen in a long time. And
I mean, it was a great catch, but a receiver has to know. A coach isn't going to do. That's up here, right? Mm-hmm. That's awareness. A receiver has to know where they're at on the field, right? Yeah. It's a feel. It's awareness. Some have it, some don't have it very good, but you just know when you're inbounds and when you're out of bounds. So I mean, that was on the receiver. A coach can't say, "Okay, here's the out of bounds. Don't step here."
Okay, Jerry says that Bud Meyer has no business being on this coaching staff. Jerry, was it you that said, was it Bud Meyer that you said he needs to be working at a car wash somewhere?
On his podcast, they hate. I was told by somebody else that they hate Iowa coaches on his podcast. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but I was told
they only called out Bud Meyer and Barnett.
Yeah. Why don't we get into our picks? That way we don't have to rush through them and we can have a little fun with it.
Sure. I was going to say it. You're right, Paul. It makes it more fun. We could talk about our picks.
Yeah. Guys, we'll do this, and guys, we can come back and, when these guys have to leave, we can come back and finish up and talk more. All right. First game, guys. Rutgers at USC.
Ooh.
This is going to be tricky because both these teams started out. No, I guess USC's never started out well. Anyway, go ahead.
I will jump in here on this one. The whole 2 time zone thing. You got Rutgers going all the way across the country. I think USC has better athletes than Rutgers does anyway, plus the 2 time zones. I will take
That's 3
Southern
time
Cal.
zones.
Yeah, I will take Southern Cal at home in this one.
I
Yeah,
also took USC for no other reason than they're at home.
I mean, I'm going to take USC as well for the main reason is we're noticing teams that go 2 time zones or more, they're losing, right? I know they've won like 3 or 4 games, but out of 20, 25, whatever it is.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's, I mean, I think on a neutral field, USC beats Rutgers anyway. So adding that, I'm going USC.
All right. Okay. Washington at Indiana. This is tricky, guys. I don't know where to go with this one.
Oh,
I'm going to want to listen to you. Jason, go ahead and go. Because I still don't know what to do with this one yet.
I didn't hear what you said. I was reading.
Washington at Indiana.
Oh. I've been going back and forth on this one because I'm going to go with Washington.
Okay.
And it's just because if Indiana does win this one, then it's going to prove to me that they're for real, right? They've had the 110th ranked schedule so far, and you guys know I'm not big on Nebraska either. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Washington, but I know it's kind of sounds like I'm being a homer because I like Washington's quarterback, but I'm going to go with them and their offense.
Yeah.
okay.
Go ahead, Paul.
I'm going to take the Hoosiers. The game's at Indiana. That
is Jerry being honest? Is Jerry being honest?
Where's he being honest at?
The quarterback. Look what he said.
Oh, yeah. Jerry said it, and so did Brain Doctor.
Yeah.
Well, that sets it up for me. I'm going with Washington.
All right.
Hold on. But remember, we already screwed that up before.
Oh, yeah. Remember the last time when
the Notre
Jerry
Dame
told
pick.
us the QB was hurt and he played?
But I interrupted Paul. What were you saying, Paul?
Washington's going 2 time zones, right? I think Indiana's technically in the Eastern time zone, if I'm not mistaken. They're right on the line.
You're right on the line, yeah.
And, in that case, they'd be going 3 time zones, but they're going at least 2, maybe 3.
They are. You're right.
They're going 3.
And, I just feel like Indiana's playing with a lot of confidence right now. Washington, on the other hand, I think they're feeling out their way in the Big Ten, and it's tough duty traveling. But
they are coming off a bye week, which I don't know how that will affect the traveling. Is coming off a bye week. I believe it's a 2:30 game, so it won't be like at Iowa where it was a 9 a.m. game for them at Iowa.
Right.
So, there are some differences, but I mean, I agree with your take, obviously. That's why I took USC, but I'm going to take Washington for Will Rogers. Will Rogers is going to pull through.
Okay. I did also take Washington. Okay, Illinois and Oregon.
That's Oregon. Illinois is a nice story this year, and they're but no, they just don't have the horses to keep up with Oregon.
Yeah,
Illinois is a typical built Big Ten team. Oregon is a typical Pac-12 built team.
I think they're more built for the SEC Big Ten type. Like that's their head coach. Like he said, he's going to make Oregon an SEC team.
Mm-hmm.
They're so physical. They're not your typical Pac-12 team.
No.
Okay.
They're extremely physical. But yeah, I'm going Oregon anyway.
Okay. Illinois is a good team with a good roster. Oregon is an elite team with an elite roster.
Okay. All right. Here's one, guys. Michigan. Oh, by the way, I also took Oregon. Michigan State at Michigan. I'm just going to tell you up front, I went with Michigan State.
Well, if the Michigan State team that Iowa played the other night shows up, Michigan's in trouble because they're very much like Iowa. They're one-dimensional, And as we saw, Michigan State is outside of the one big KJ run in the second half. They know how to focus on stopping the run, and if they do that, I'm going to take Michigan State here. I think Michigan may have checked out a little bit, but
there's something going on with Michigan's coaching staff. They're yelling at fans. I mean, they've been having issues with one of their coaches, and then another coach went off and just started yelling at fans during a game because they didn't like what was being said. They're fans. They're idiots. They're going to say shit. You can't argue with them, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going Michigan State as well because I think exactly what Paul said. They're legit just having a remake of the Iowa game. All they got to do is shut down Michigan's running attack, and it's over.
Yeah.
Now, the question, the only thing that could change that is if Michigan State's bad habits of turning the football over return. But and they damn near did Saturday night, right? I mean, there was a couple of times, but I think Michigan State is. I think their arrow is pointed up, and right now I think Michigan's arrow is clearly pointed down, and
in my opinion, Michigan State, it's all about what's up in their head. If they show up and not cocky, right, and not just be, look what we did to Iowa's defense. Well, hell, everybody's doing it to Iowa's defense. So just go show up and do the same thing to Michigan.
All right, we got to move this along if we're going to get done this in 2 more minutes.
No, I got 10 minutes. I got 10 minutes.
Okay. Penn State at Wisconsin. Wait a minute. Yeah, Penn State at Wisconsin. I took Penn State. Wisconsin might be on the surge, but I think this is more than Wisconsin's ready for.
I'm going Wisconsin. I mean, I'm going Penn State as well because I think what Penn State does very well with their short passing game and running the football, Wisconsin that's what they struggle with. They struggle against accurate quarterbacks. So I think they have an accurate quarterback at Penn State and they can run the football, I'm going to go Penn State.
Paul.
Do you guys like to jump around? Jump around! Jump around!
Oh,
jump around! Get down!
Oh, is he going on a limb?
Jump!
Are you going for it? Are you going to do it?
I'm gonna ride Wisconsin. Give me that cheese.
Oh wow!
Whoa!
Wow!
Do you realize how small that branch is you're on?
Do you know that out of the first 5 games we picked, we've all picked identical except Paul's gone rogue on 2 of them.
It's strategy, boys. It's all strategy.
Okay, here we go. Here's one that's going to be tougher. Missouri at Bama.
And by the way, if we all pick the same, how is this interesting?
You're right. You're right.
What was it? The
Paul,
new game?
go ahead and choose your winner of Missouri, Alabama.
Where's the game being played?
Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Man, I've been picking against Missouri and other things, and they just keep kicking my ass by picking against Missouri, but I'm going to have to pick against Missouri again. I'm going to go with Alabama and see if they do it again.
What's their record?
Who?
Missouri. I also took Bama, by the way.
I think Missouri is 5-2 or 6-1.
Okay. All right. Maryland at Minnesota. I went with Minnesota. Jason, you're up.
Who?
Maryland at Minnesota.
Oh, I'm going Minnesota. Minnesota. I like how they're playing. I think they finally have their identity. They just have to, basically they got to do what Iowa's got to do, start in the damn first quarter. Minnesota keeps coming back ridiculously, and it's just like Iowa. Iowa's second half on offense. Well, that's the same with Minnesota. I'm going to go Minnesota.
All right, Paul.
Which Maryland team travels to Minnesota? The good one.
Right.
I don't know. It's for that reason, and I'm not going to go out on a limb on the Terrapins. I will take Minnesota, and maybe we'll all be wrong or we'll all be right, but I have no good. I have no feel for Maryland.
So far, Jason and I agree on every game, and I know we're going to agree on the next one.
Are you serious? We agree.
Yes.
So I didn't go out on a limb once this time. Oh, that's right. This one I actually used my brain the whole time. I didn't go out on any limbs.
Yeah. All right. Northwestern and Iowa. I know we're all going to pick Iowa, but pick your score. I took Iowa 24-10.
It's not a bad score. I will take Iowa 20-17. And I think we have a walk-off field goal for the win. It's 17-17, and Cade drives us down for a game-winning kick.
66-yard field goal.
That'd be amazing. I'm gonna go Iowa 34-24.
I like it.
You guys don't have much faith in our defense rebounding, do you?
I just think teams they've spotted our weakness this year. It's our right corner.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Holding a team to 17 points in modern football is good defense. That's the other thing people have to realize. I mean, even the 32 we gave up to Michigan State was a bunch of field goals. Like it wasn't. It was bad, but it could have easily gone much, much worse. A worse defense that could have been 52-3.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it for the picks. Paul, when Jason leaves, would you like to hang on and we can talk to these guys on some of their comments? You have time?
I think I'm going to drop off too. I'm kind of glad we got started a few minutes early. I'm going to spend a few minutes with the wife. I have a couple more games this week of umpiring.
All righty. Okay. So, all right. I'm going to stay on, guys. When these guys go, I'll be on, and I want to answer some of those questions and comments that you guys are making along the way.
And then when I get a chance, I'll go back and watch it, see what you guys talk about.
Okay. Sounds good. All righty.
I can't remember what I was going to say.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you, didn't I?
Yeah. And I don't have Kelvin's brain, so I can't remember crap. But I have brain issues. Anyway, yeah. So that's my pick. That's what I was going to say. Off of what you were saying, Dean and Paul, I think that the teams have figured out Iowa doesn't have a right corner. That's my biggest fear.
Okay.
Is they've been just in every third down, every 3rd and 5 and longer, they go to the right corner, right? That's what they were doing. Michigan State did, and that quarterback was bad before that game. But the receivers were so wide open, he couldn't miss.
Right.
So it's not that I don't have faith in the defense. I don't have faith in the right corner. There's nothing other players can do if they don't have somebody to guard that side of the field. That's my take.
All righty.
If Northwestern's O-line isn't up to snuff, maybe we see some defensive adjustments to help protect the right corner. We try to bring more pressure. We did have success with the blitz with Jackson against Michigan State. We just, so there's that.
Okay.
There's that last diamond right there.
There you go.
Jared, if you're still on, if you're talking about Iowa State, they're number 8, I believe, in the latest poll.
They're a top 10 team with their schedule, right? I just talked about Indiana's schedule, which is another reason I picked Washington. Iowa State did beat Iowa, but they had to come back. Iowa dominated that game until the 4th quarter, right?
Yeah.
So,
And as everybody thinks Iowa is, we're still their marquee win.
Yep.
Yeah. That's facts.
Yeah. And you guys remember those two long touchdown passes they had against us were on the right side, our weak area. Maybe people are studying that Iowa State film.
I'm sure they're studying
Right.
all the film.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Just throwing it out there because that still hurts because we had that game won.
No, I agree.
They're still kicking the wheat chin until they weren't. So
Right.
maybe they're not watching special
Right.
teams film.
All right, guys.
Talk to you
I gotta
later,
go.
Jason.
It was definitely a lot of fun again tonight. We'll see you guys after the Northwestern win.
Yeah. All right, guys, hang on. I'll be around for a little bit. I want to go back and hit some of your guys' questions and comments. I don't know how far off we are. Okay. I know we already did that. Bud Meyer has no business. I am actually in agreement with you guys on this one. I just never really felt comfortable with Bud Meyer being hired as the wide receivers coach. Okay. Which OT rules would you like more, NCAA or NFL? For me, it's easily the NCAA. I don't like the overtime rules in NFL. Okay, wide receiver room on O-line must improve. Most improved on the team, actually. And wide receiver room, a bunch of newbies. Well, that is true. Kelvin's got a point there that we have a lot of inexperience in our wide receiver room. I mean, Gill, of course, is experienced, but he didn't have a lot of balls thrown to him. He had very little thrown to him at Northwestern. And it seems like the rest of our receivers, except for Seth Anderson, who's just getting his feet wet again, are newbies. We've got Jarrett Bowie, Howard. I can't think of his full name, Howard. Vanderzee. Those guys are all first year guys. Okay. Yeah, Jerry says Barnett, not Barnett, but Bud Meyer needs to be at the technical station. Okay. Will Coach Barnett be at Iowa after this year? Be with his dominance of the O-line coaching and how much better he's gotten. Honestly, I'm not as down on Barnett as you guys are, because honestly, Barnett, this O-line has improved, and they should have improved. We being 4th, 5th year, and 6th-year guys, this offensive line needed to be improved this year. I don't know where we're going to be next year with Barnett's actual guys, because all these guys will pretty much be gone. I think most of them will be. And so we're going to start to see Barnett's guys come in and see what he can actually do. I doubt if Barnett gets let go at the end of the year, even though people think he should. I think next year will be a tall tale. But then again, Iowa's rebuilding completely next year, as everybody should know. Okay, Paul's gonna have to original his picks. Can he do it? Gonna have to be okay. Okay. We've got Iowa 31, Northwestern 20. Okay, Iowa UCLA, a scary game. I'm working on tickets to that, guys. If my son-in-law had gotten back to me, I would already have them. So I guess I'm going to have to go ahead and get them with or without his consent. Washington, since Indiana lost their QB1, that's back to there. Still going with Indy. Isaiah, yeah, yes. Bud Meyer has coached at Iowa 7 months, and the most improved room. Vanderzee, Howard, Bowie, Frosch, and new guy Gill, and new offense. To be fair and factual, like I said earlier, Calvin actually has a point on that. But he still doesn't have any experience. I mean, okay. The Indiana quarterback is pretty good. Indiana backup mobile as Kirk has taught us, mobile QBs are irrelevant in today's game. Well, as Kirk has taught us by not using a mobile quarterback. Yes. Yes, Kirk hasn't come out and said it. He just by his action. Okay, hang on, guys. I just trying to get through here as fast as I can. Alrighty. Jerry wanted to know if Calvin was related to Bud Meyer. Kevin, they are all upperclassmen. They better be better. No relaxation. I'm just no relation. I'm just opinionated. Brain doctor. Jerry, I was wondering that too. Calvin has a crush on him, I think. Apparently, you guys are all opinionated. Yeah, I like that. Just following facts. Dean had me on, and I was anti Bud Meyer at the time. Yes, he was. I reminded him of that too. Fact is, Bud Meyer never had one coach receiver prior to the season. He was only in the coaches' room with the quarterbacks, coaches, and stuff, with just to make sure they were all on page. Like LeVar Woods, Seth, and Hodge hire. Okay. Paul's my hero. Okay. Too bad Paul's not here to see that. Bud Meyer has also not been a Hawkeye player. He's never been in the system before this season. And I don't think that's a prerequisite that they have to be a player in order to coach at Iowa, a former Hawkeye player. Matter of fact, when Kirk does finally hanging up and walks away and takes his whole staff with him, I would love to have non-Iowa people come in and take over because it's just probably time for and as I said in the other thing, it's probably time to make things happen. And I don't necessarily buy into the fact that we're going to become Nebraska when we do that. Okay, how can someone just like a coach who is new? Okay, when you don't earn it. Okay, KF lies like a Democrat. If he's talking 99% is a lie, only a fool would be loyal to a liar like KF. Telling fans that John Buttplug was a wide receiver coach at CSU. Yeah, he was never officially and that's true, a wide receivers coach. When John was asked about it, he admitted that he never coached wide receivers, but he did sit in the with the quarterback room and the wide receivers room to make sure they were both on the same pages. And I believe he was the quarterback coach there, as long as was he also the offensive coordinator. Okay, the made-up source of Iowa football. John's last 3 house and wide receivers and 3 other playing great power 4 wide receivers. Yes, John is good at his job. Calvin, we disagree, but that's okay. It's just a difference of opinion. Yeah, Calvin and I disagree a lot, but we managed to get along okay. Come on, Calvin, dispute the facts, please. Alrighty. Paul did drop off. Okay, he just hung on until Jason went. Guys did leave, as Jason said. They left because young guys were ahead of them, Howard and Bowie. Okay, are they going to let Sullivan play more? Stay tuned to see if that actually happens. Kirk kind of alluded that there's probably a chance that might happen. He kind of alluded to it, but Kirk, he's not going to come out and say yes or no. All right, and he did say they would discuss that as a group. So if Kay is selling it, I wouldn't touch it with even with Calvin's brain. That was kind of mean, Calvin's brain. The program is so far behind with Kirk as a head coach. I strongly dislike how far the program is dropping because Kirk just wants to milk more from Iowa. Guys, I've said it before. If he gets his 10th win, because he'd have to do it in a bowl game, I believe he'll retire. I've said this before to other people. Kirk is what do I want to say? I believe he wants the record. He'll get that if he gets to 10 wins this year. And And so if he gets this 10th win at a bowl game, that should get him out. Okay. Also, he'll still be right around 60%, so that he'll have his Hall of Fame wrapped up. So I think he's going to leave after this year if he gets the 10th win. If he doesn't get his 10th win, then we will see him next year. But next year, those wins are going to be way hard to come by. Okay. DeJong hasn't played much. I've noticed that. Okay. Alrighty. How have the O-line recruits been the past few years? Well, you're watching them because the O-line recruits aren't getting any playing time because the 5th, 6th-year seniors are all 4th, 5th, 6th-year seniors are all taking this time up. So I really can't tell you how well they are. I think if they were any good, they would be playing right now. Jerry's leaving us. I'm sorry, Jerry. It was fun having you on here. Okay. They bragged up. Okay. Next year we are going to have a losing season, I'm afraid. I think you might be right. I'm on board with 6-6 as the ceiling. But I could be wrong. Maybe we're going to use the portal in such a way this next year that it's going to surprise everybody. Okay. Made up source says, I will personally petition the Hall of Fame if he gets credit for the Illinois State game. He was suspended for being a dirty coach and does not deserve that win. Okay. I disagree that he was a dirty coach. Yes, he did. He made illegal contact. But I think he wasn't aware of some things. I think his buddy Seth Tyler, his buddy Tyler, his son-in-law Tyler, probably sent him down the wrong path. So I think that's it. I think that's plenty tonight. Things got a lot of controversial there, guys, but thank you for keeping it basically clean. Keeping everything clean and not hating on each other and arguing with each other. As Jerry said, we can agree to disagree. And that's fine. So, guys, it was fun. Go Hawks, beat Northwestern. Did you guys see my? I got this. I stopped at the Black and Gold shop when I was in Iowa last week, and they gave me this homecoming button because I made a nice purchase on a T-shirt. All right. I'm out, guys. I will see you on the flip side. Bye.